We're going to do roots and radicals. Lesson 2:12. Can anybody tell me what the word roots in math mean? Anybody?
What it takes.
Like square roots.
Like a square root. Okay, is there anything else that's bigger than square roots?
A cubed root.
And there's cube roots, square roots. What else? We had square roots, fourth roots, and then fifth roots, sixth roots. We can do as many roots as we want. What about radicals? Anybody heard of a radical before?
I've only heard people say it.
Yes. Okay, so let's define it. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about exponents versus roots. Here we go. Up here, I have 5 to the 4th power, and you know that means 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, correct? And that's 625. Are you with me so far?
You have too many 5.
Do I have too many? Count. Do I have?
If it's 5 to the 4th.
Oh, I do. Is the 625 wrong then?
Yeah.
Someone help me. So is that wrong? What's 5 to the 4th? Is that really 625? Or is it wrong?
It's not wrong.
Okay, so it's just, I have an extra.
It'd be 600, or wait. It is 600.
Okay, so I just have an extra thing there that I shouldn't,
Yeah,
right?
it is
Okay,
600.
that's fine. So, I want you to show you something. Now, I want you to look at this. This is a true statement. What I wrote up there is a new notation for you that you need to learn.
Yeah.
Square root.
Is that a square root?
It's a fourth root.
This is a 4th root because there's a 4 there. Now, Ashton, you said something really wonderful though. That's not a problem. You said square root. You've seen this before over, let's say, a 4, right? And what did it mean?
Square root.
How would you put that into a calculator?
I'll tell you that in a minute. What is that? What is this? What does this square root even mean? If you had when I was a little girl, and my dad, he had something about a square root, and I said, "What's a square root?" And I had just know my times tables. I didn't know anything else, and he just casually came up to me and just told me what it was, and I said, "Oh," and I just did the work.
Oh, I know how to do it.
And so, what is a square root? Just tell me in general terms. If you had somebody who was brand new, they knew how to do times tables, but nothing else. What would you say was a square root?
What it takes to multiply by itself to get a number that's equal.
Okay, so a number multiplied by itself that equals that. What number is that, by the way? 2, right? So this equals. Do I put it on? Does it look like it? It looks kind of like a divide. Do I put it up there like a divide?
I just put equals.
You do. You just put an equals on the side and you say 2, right? Okay. So if that's a square root, and by the way, there is an invisible 2 there. You just didn't know it.
Or you could put it there.
You can put a 2 there, and he has a way to put it on his calculator. All right. So, but what do you think this means then? If that's a square root and it means what times itself? What does this one mean?
What times itself? 4 times?
4 times. That's exactly right. And we can see that up here, even though I messed up with, I give you 5 of them. There's only supposed to be 4 of them. So that tells us that I multiply 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. 4 times gives me 625. That's a 4th root.
What about soccer?
All right, I want you to now look on page 46. And for you, it's page 93 for you two. Page 46 and 93. Everyone look. Are you ready? I want us to find the names of the parts. All right, the names of the parts. Just like I got to back up. All right, what is this part right here called? It's in this, kind of towards the middle of the bottom. All right, they have the parts of this. See this? Well, they don't have that part. They have this part. What's this part called?
The answer.
Look in your book. It tells you.
This is the radicand.
Radicand. Are you ready? This is called the radicand. All right. What is this one? Right. This symbol here called?
Alright, that's mine.
It's the radical. Okay.
Mala.
It's the. And then what is this guy? What's this up here called? The what? Wait. I got one person that's been telling me all the answers. Why can't you tell me the answers? All right. Ashton, I'm gonna.
Do it.
I know you're doing fine. You're doing
This
wonderful.
is
Shh. I'm asking Ashton right now. Ashton, what's that called?
No. I call it another,
Right here.
Radicand?
Is he right, Zeb? Is he right?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said that that's the answer.
He did not. Go ahead, Ashton. Say it again.
Radicand?
Is he right, Zeb?
Yes.
Where did he find it on his book? Point to it. No. Zach, point in his book where we are, so he's not there. No, okay, so Zach doesn't know where we are either. Okay, so Ashton, point to your book where you found the answer. And then everybody look in your book where Ashton is. Nobody knows where we are.
I do.
Okay, you do?
I do.
All right, so Zeb, what is this? Look up here. What is this piece called?
That's called the Radican.
Look on your book, and it tells you what it is.
Mama, it's Kamala Harris. It's the radical sign.
Radical.
It's the radical sign. Are you ready? What is... Okay, this is for JD. JD, what's this?
The index.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to ask more people. Asa, what is this?
Ooh, that's the radical sign.
All right.
The sign
Zach,
of
what's
the radical.
this?
That is the index.
Very good. Zeb, what is that?
That is the Radican.
All right. You need to know this vocabulary because they might ask you to do certain things and you need to know where it is. If you can't remember now, you know in your book where to find them. All right. If there's no index, what do we assume it is? I've got the answer on the board, everyone. If there's no index, what do we assume it is?
2.
A 2. All right, so it's a square root, so we say square root instead of a 2 root. It's a square root if there's no index, okay? All right. You have a square root and a cube root chart in your book. Do you see it? Raise your hand when you see it. I've got 1 person who found it, 2 people who have found it, 3, 4 people who have found it. Aiden, where is it? Point in your book. No. Okay, help. Zach, where is it on your book?
I thought it was right here.
It's not. Okay, so where is it, Zach? Zeb, where's your cube root and square root?
Right here.
There's a chart that has, JD, show us. Right there, okay? Right there.
Yes, that's what I was
Turn your page, turn your page.
That's what I meant.
Right
Yeah, that's
there. All right, you got square roots and cube root chart.
Or you could listen to the songs.
Or you could listen to the songs. That's exactly what I was going to talk about next. You guys might not need them because you memorized them in CC. And I've got at least 3 in here that I know did Memory Masters.
I have a question.
So you should know them. Just know, no question, no question. All right, so, because you're asking me something that's not right now. All right, here we go. All right, get out your whiteboards. Are you ready, gentlemen? On your marks,
What?
get set. I want you to write the problem and the answer. Are you ready? You can look at your chart that I just told you about if you need to. Are you ready? Get set. Problem and answer. Problem and answer. Problem and answer. I want to see that you know how to write the answer.
Done.
I got 1 person who's done.
Done.
Where did you put the answer at? We'll look at him and so you know how to put the answer. It
Wait,
goes over
Zach,
here.
is it-
I wrote it.
Doesn't go on top like a division.
Done.
All right. So does it go on top?
Done.
Put
Done. Done.
Kids, be quiet.
All right. It comes over here and it should be a 5, correct?
Yes.
Because 5 times 5 is 25.
2,500 made treatment.
All right. Let's do another one. Here we go. If you need to look in your chart, you can. On your marks, get set, problem and answer. If you need to look at your chart, you can.
Done.
Got 1 person who's done.
I'm not doing that.
Aha. Aha.
Tell your neighbor how you got that answer and where you found it.
How'd you get that answer?
Right here,
I found
Zeb.
it.
Right
I
here.
was digging through the brain, and
Right, he needs you to explain it to him.
well, I just know that 4 cubed is 64, so that's how I got it.
Because you know the 4 times
Everything.
4 times 4 times
4
is
equals 60.
4. So you look in. If you didn't know that, you'd look in your chart over here. You'd look in your chart here,
Now you're eating more
and you'd
pepper.
find the 64, and you'd scoot over, and you'd have your answer. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So the answer is 4. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
All right. I am hoping that you will not use your calculators for these, that you'll just know them. They're not going to give you ones that are huge, that you shouldn't know already. Here we go. Ready?
Will give us some?
They should not.
9, 16, 25.
Here we go. If you need to look in your chart, you can.
Who do you think I am, Miss Gary?
What?
Done.
If you need to look in your chart, you can. Where's that chart at? Do you remember? Right here.
Look. Oh, I know.
I've got one person who's done, 2 people who are done.
Ooh, even Zach is puzzled.
Even Zach is puzzled?
Oh, wait, hold
I got it.
It's so easy.
Is it? Are you sure?
on. Yeah.
You don't have a 5th root chart. You don't have anything to the 5th,
I mean, we could have a fifth root
but you don't have it. You only have a square and cubes. So how do you figure that one out? I would look through the 2 charts because that's what they're going to give it to you. Do you have a 32 anywhere on that chart?
I have no idea. I ain't seen a 30.
You should have a 32.
I ain't seen a 32.
Right there?
That's 36.
Or you could just look at that right there.
That's true.
Oh, the answer is 2.
But
Yeah.
don't you have a... Oh, you don't have a 32. Okay. All right. So you're going to have to... All right. Just a second. I got to go back. I don't want that one.
Oh.
All right. I guess what you might do is do your 2s. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and so forth. Your square. Okay. I'm going to...
Chili peppers.
I skipped 6.
Yes. Come on.
Was it
4 or 8?
I know. 2, 4, 8. Yeah. Let's do that one. Ashton, let's do this. I'm not doing my skip countings. What numbers am I doing? 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. What am I doing?
Oh, it was like big and fat. Like
Careful. I'm talking. Okay, what am I writing up there? 2, 4, 18, 16, 32, 64.
The squares.
The squares of 2. Is that true? So this is, what is this one? This is 1. This is 2 to the 1. This is 2 to the what?
2 squared.
You guys might want to write these down in your book. On your marks.
What?
Get set. 2 to the 3rd. 2 to the 4th. I'd write those in.
I had to learn this for last year.
You do what?
I had to learn over class for 2 last year.
Those aren't the 2s. Those are the 2. Did you memorize those?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have memorized those.
They had us memorize them last year.
In
I remember how to memorize.
Oh, and okay, Christian life. Okay, you had to memorize those last year. To the 5th
It's 32.
and to the 6th. 64. And then you could keep going with that. But those are something you'll want to have in your mind. What's 2 to the 7, by the way?
128.
Yes, 128, 256, 500 and... 500 what?
12.
Yes, 512, yes. And so forth. All right.
1,224.
That's my favorite. 1024 is 2 to the 10th. I love that one.
2,048.
All right, so you could keep going on and on and on and on, but I would memorize those. At least have them where you could look at them quick. All right, I'm going to do one more on your board. Are you ready? I'm going to try to stump you.
No.
I'm going to try to stump you right there.
No.
On your marks.
What?
Write the problem and the answer, please. I'm going to try to stump you.
What? What?
But I'm going to put a hint up here. Really, here we go. I'm going to do that. See if I can give you a hint. 25 was 5 times 5, or 5 squared. See if that'll help you figure out the other one.
Oh, wait.
Aha, I got it.
Oh.
I got one person who's got it.
I see. I got it.
But I got it first, so I'm more specialist.
Just 1 second. We're doing on your board, buddy. There's a problem there that I'm doing. If you'll do that for me, please.
What?
The very last one. And I gave you a hint and said that 25 is the same as 5 squared. What is the square root of 5 squared?
5.
5.
All right. So what's the square root of e squared?
E.
E. Okay.
E. A. Sports.
Anything squared just comes out as a not square. It's kind of like
Do you have electric water?
the square root and the square cancel each other out. Exactly what they do. Okay. The square and the square root cancel each other out. All right. Here we go. Here's another one. Please write the problem and the answer. I hope what we just did a moment ago helps you to get this one.
Done.
Got one person who's done.
Done.
You didn't even write the problem.
No, you did not.
Oh, wait, we have to write the problem?
Problem and the answer.
I'm more
Problem and-
specialist.
That's what.
JD, you're pretty special, alright.
Is that a good thing?
No.
All right. What happens? A moment ago we said, I need everyone's attention up here. A moment ago we said that the square root and the square cancel each other out. What happens with the cube and the cube root? They cancel each other's out, so the answer is X. Very good. Okay. We know that addition and subtraction are inverses or opposites. We know that multiplication and division are opposites or inverses. What do we know about squares and square roots? They're inverses, okay?
They're inverses.
They are.
They're inversible.
All right, we're going to do more. Here we go.
No.
I want you to do the cube root of -8. If you need to look in your chart, please do. The cube root of -8. What times what times what gives me -8? Has to be the same thing all 3 times.
Done.
I've got an answer. One person's done.
I was
A number times the same number times that same number again that gives you -8. Give me a hands up when you got it. Compare. JD and Asa compare. Zeb compare with Zach. And Ashton, if you're done, compare yours with the people next to you. All right? The answer is -2. Many of you had that on there. -2 because -2 to the 3rd power gives me -8. Are you with me? All right. I want you to do this one. The cube root of -125. You might have that one in your chart, or you might just know it. We have a number times itself 3 times that gives you -125.
done.
Done. I got it before Zach.
And how do you know you guys have a different answer? Maybe you need to talk about it.
JD, what'd you get? What'd you get? What?
I got
Five.
-5.
It's
Yeah.
-5. It's -5.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's -5.
But somebody got. Are you sure, Zach, that you're not? You're usually the one that's right. Zach, you should argue.
I put 25.
Oh, you-
I messed up.
Okay, so you know that. Okay, all right. All right, so
Hey, well, that's the first time in.
Yeah, we should mark this on the calendar.
mark on the calendar. We got -5 because -5 to the 3rd power is -125. So when I cube something, if I cube a negative, does it stay a negative?
Yes.
When I square a negative, does it stay a negative? I heard one person answer me. Good job. Let me ask the question one more time.
Yeah,
if I
I think I'm with Zach.
if you square a negative, does it stay a negative?
Yes. No.
It turns to positive. Okay. All right. So, but when I square cubes, Judy, when I cube,
Yes, it's a negative.
it stays a negative. Okay. All right. Seb's anticipating. All right. Here we go. The 5th root of -32. The 5th root of -32.
Wait. So if you had like the square root of 25, couldn't you just say -5 as an answer too?
We're gonna. That's a good question. Remind me to talk about that in a minute. Yes.
Done.
We'll talk. I got the 5th root of -32. I got one person who's done.
Done.
What times what times what times 1, 2, 3. What times itself 5 times gives me -32?
-2.
It's going to be a negative answer.
Right. -2.
Done.
So 2 to the 5th power.
It's 32.
-2.
-2. Excuse me. -2 to the 5th power is okay. So the answer is -2 because -2 to the 5th power is a -32.
Well, you can just look at the index and just see if it's an odd number. It's going to be negative. If it's even. It's gonna
Oh, wait a second. He just gave us. He just said something. You need to tell me if it's right. Okay. He just made a pattern, and you need to find patterns in your life. Go ahead, Zach. Say it again.
If the index, which is the number like the 5th. Like,
The 5th power here. The
power
index.
right
Good.
here. If that's a odd number, it's going to be negative. If it's an even number, it's going to be positive.
Okay, so that's what his prediction is. If we have an odd number here and there's a negative there, then you're gonna have a negative there.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Let's test that hypothesis.
If you had 4 negatives, that's.
I want you to test that hypothesis now. Are you ready? This is where Zach made a pattern. He found a pattern, and we're going to test that hypothesis now. The square root of -36.
What?
The square root of -36.
Wait, but that.
What times itself gives you -36?
No, because that makes it positive 36.
-36.
Well, -36 times -36 is going to be a positive 900 and something or other.
There's enough.
Maybe even 1,000 something or other.
On here it says.
Wait, what if it's a 1?
If it's a 1,
I
it
wrote
says undefined
I
on
wrote
it.
undefined, yeah.
Okay, Well, what you guys are having some issues. So you guys started. Wait a second. You started.
Because you can't have a square become a negative.
Yeah.
You tried to do 6 times 6, and that gives you positive 36, right? But what if I do negative 6 times negative 6? What's that give you? Still positive 36, correct? And so
It's undefined.
it's undefined. If you have a square root that's a negative under the radical, how do I write the undefined sign? Remember, what's the symbol for that?
It's a 0 combined.
A 0 with that diagonal little line thing going through it, right? All right. That's undefined. You cannot do it now. I'm not going to say cannot, because in the real number system, there's no number that goes with that. But we're going to eventually, when you take Algebra 2 and higher, you'll get into what's called imaginary. And then we'll define that, and there'll have another number system to work with, okay? But in the numbers that you know in your life right now, there's not a number that works. I hated it when I was a little girl, and I was in elementary school, and they told me this. They said, 27 minus 8. They says, we can't subtract big numbers from small numbers, and they used the word can't. And then they said, we're gonna borrow, so we have a big number. And so then later in life, they come down here and said 7 minus 8. Oh, you can do that. And then so I felt like I had been lied to all those years, which you really can subtract it. It's a negative 1, right? So I don't want to give you the impression that it is impossible to take the square root of a negative, but in the real number system, there isn't a number for it. Later we'll get to it, okay?
They were like, I'm going to borrow. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Buy it. I don't want to borrow it. I want to buy it.
I know. We're gonna do it. Are you ready? The square root of 144. Are your marks? Get set. Just write the answer. Go.
12. Done. I never did that wrong.
I can't read Zeb's. It looks like a fishing pole. He looks like he's fly fishing out there. Looks like you're fly fishing out there. All right. I agree with Aiden. The answer is 12. Now everyone's going to be silent. I'm going to put the next one up. Do not say a word. Only write the answer on your board and hold up your board when you're done. On your marks. Get set. I've got some answers here. I've got one person who has a different answer. Zach has a different answer than everybody else.
Zach, why would you do that?
Well, because mine's right.
Wait, negative 144? I'm done.
Oh!
It's negative. There's no square. There's no...
See, Zach's the only smart
All
one.
right.
So, do it so
I
fast.
could always just do it. What was that?
Why could the answer not be negative 12?
I don't know.
Because you can't have a negative...
We know, Zach, okay? You don't have to rub it
Or a
in.
negative even number.
Okay, so what happens if I take negative 12 times negative 12? What do I get? Positive 144, okay? All right. A moment ago, you had a wonderful question, and I'm going to answer it right now, JD. When I gave you the square root of 144, let's say, you said, well, couldn't it be 12 and negative 12? Because if I square that one, I get 144. And when I square that one, I get... So what they want, JD, because in the front of this, it doesn't have a minus or a plus, it has an invisible plus in front right there, they only want you to give the positive answer, okay? In the future, your reasoning in your brain was really important because you're going to use that plus or minus thing in your life later. But they only want you to give the positive answer right now. All right. I want you to try this one on your board, please. Try this one on your board. I want you to just make a hypothesis of what you think the answer might be. And if you don't think you can do it, I think you can try, though. I think you can try.
No, Zach.
I think you can try.
I got it.
That's right.
I heard somebody says undefined. I have a 2 over 3. I have a 2 over 3. I have a 2 over 18. I've got a 2 over 3.
All right.
All right, so I want to show you something. You guys watch and see that you all made a hypothesis. It's okay if you got it wrong. I want to tell you. Shh, watch me. Listen. When I'm taking the square root of a fraction, I take the square root of the numerator to divide it by the square root of the denominator. You don't have to write this part, but you could. What's the square root of 4?
2.
The square root of 9?
3.
3. Answer is 2/3.
Well, of course you know, Zach. You've
All right.
taken this like 10 times.
I want you to try this one. Now that you've had an example of this one, I want you to try that one, please. On your marks, get set, go.
Got it. I got it.
We know, Zach. Got it.
Oh, yes.
I have cones.
The square root of 49. What times itself gives you 49?
I'm gonna write IDK.
I
got it.
That's square root.
And what times itself gives you 64?
7 over.
The square root of 49.
7.
7 times 7 is 49. And what times what gives you 64? 8. It's really important that you know your squares. That's why you memorize them for your memory masters. Okay? We're doing okay. Don't stress.
We still have 2 lessons left.
Get going then. I want you to do number 50, 53, 56, 51, 40, 54, and 57.
Oh gosh.
Raise your hand when you have them done.
Don't die.
Why are you making us do extra practice? Why don't we just do today's lesson?
What was that sound?
I'm starting to itch. I'm allergic to whining, and I'm starting to itch. Zeb.
Don't blame me.
It's not Zach this time. It's Zeb. I'm allergic to Zeb today. He's whining. I have to take some Benadryl.
Sounds like a personal hobby.
Give me a hands up when you have those 6 done. How can you square root what?
1.
What's one? Where's 1 at?
1 over 9.
Oh, what? Yeah. What times what gives you 1?
Oh, 1.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's those easy ones that give us the tricks. After you figure it out, you're like, oh yeah.
Dude, I just ran out of legs. Can't pop me out.
I might have some for you. Just a second.
No, I have some.
You do. Okay.
I think every time I would press the thing, it would like fling out.
Okay.
No, Zeb, you do it.
No, I don't wanna.
All right, next lesson.
So we got 2 people who are done. 3 people who are done.
I've been over a while.
I've been done for a while too.
Oh, whatever.
I've been done for you know like
He's
20
thinking. Okay, you're
years,
thinking.
you
Okay.
know.
20.
I did it whenever I was negative
10.
11.
You were dead for 11 years?
Yeah.
You were dead for 11 years.
Makes a lot of sense.
Good. Okay. All right. Let's try this. What times itself gives you 121?
11.
11. Good job. What times itself?
B.
Oh, and I heard it's just B. Is that correct?
Yeah, 5.
Okay.
Next one's 5.
Is this one? Is this 5? You guys,
Negative 8.
Negative 8.
are you sure? Negative 8. Are we allowed to take cube roots of negatives?
Yes.
Yes.
What can we not
No,
take?
it's negative A.
Hey,
A, not 8. A. What can we not take roots of when they're negative?
Squares.
Squares or the even ones. You were correct about that odd even thing.
And then 1 over 3.
I heard 1 over 3. Is that correct?
Yeah.
1 over
And then
3.
3 over 5. Okay, cool.
3 over
Done.
5.
Next lesson.
Next lesson, baby.
Woo!
Last 5.
All right. You guys are wanting to go fast. All right, here we go.
We have
All right, we learned how to evaluate radicals and roots and found out they're the opposite.
24 minutes.